Welcome, everybody. This is the Hudson Valley Jam with our in-depth artist interview series, and I'm with Alex Herrera.
How you doing, Scott?
Tom Dudley, a.k.a. the Blues Buddha. Hey, Tommy.
How you doing?
Hey, Tom.
What's up?
Great. Thank you for joining us today. I think this is going to be a lot of fun. So let's get started. You grew up in Yonkers, yes?
I did. Yonkers, New York. Very diverse place.
So what kind of music did you listen to when you were a kid? I mean, 8, 9, 10 years old, before you were a teenager. Did you listen to your parents' music?
No, it's a funny story. I have a sister that was like 11 years older than me.
Mm-hmm.
So she was into rock and roll, and she was into, and I actually remember the first album I ever listened to because it was a compilation CD. Lloyd Price was on it with Stagger Lee.
Oh, my.
At the Hop, Danny and the Juniors.
Yeah.
That was my sister's stuff, and she was into Elvis Presley.
Uh-huh.
So I was introduced to that style of music, and it was probably the first music that I really listened to besides, my mother singing to me occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
But that was the beginning, 8 or 9 years old, of my development.
Was anybody in your family a musician? Was there a piano, or did your brother or sister play guitar? Or
No, nobody played any instruments in my family. My mother, if there's anybody I can say that musically I was influenced by in my family, my mother sang.
Oh.
And I think that's, my mother used to sing to me. And I remember, all I want for Christmas is my 2 front teeth, stuff like that. But back then, the radio was on.
Right.
And your mother was cooking, and I was behind her eating out of the bowl, and she was singing songs, and we all knew the words. It was cool shit,
Yeah.
She was a big influence on me.
When you were a teenager, did you sing with any bands? I know that you met Rich Steele growing up in Yonkers, and Bill Edwards and Chuck St. Troy. Did you hang out with those guys with different bands and sing in different bands?
Well, that's a long story, Scott.
Okay.
Because the bottom line is I've always been around music, but for a long time I wasn't in music.
Okay.
And the reason was because, a little bit about my past. I had major drug and addiction issues for years. Mm-hmm. And it started when I was I'm writing about it right now. I'm actually writing a memoir of my recovery stuff. And everybody wanted me to sing, but I was kind of always caught up. I was getting in a lot of trouble when I was a kid. So I never really dedicated myself to singing until later in my life. And that's a large part of what I've been doing the last 20 years or so.
Okay.
So there's a story behind that. But no, I sang in a few bands. I remember the first band I sang in was a band called Beat Generation. I was about 14 years old. There was a band in my area called Lord of the Flies, and another band that it was a combination of those bands. And I remember freezing on the stage. I was like 14 at a dance at South Presbyterian Church in Yonkers, New York. And I remember just like standing there, like looking at me, and I couldn't. It was part of what kept me from being in it. I was afraid at that time.
A stage fright, or just a combination of that and being really cold and everything?
Well, I was a kid, you know what I mean? And like the only time people wanted me to sing, the only time I sang is when I was half loaded, I'd drink a few beers and I'd sing. I'd say, "Oh man, you great boys, be in our band." And I'd get in the band, and it just never really went anywhere for me early back then.
Yeah.
I did comedy for a while when I was in high school.
Really?
I did that for about a year. I
do a little stand-up?
Yeah, I sucked. Yeah.
Wow.
Well, you got to suck before you get good.
Yeah, well, I never got past the suck. I never got past the suck. I sucked. And again, it was just my life. My life was a disaster. You know, I had more important things to do, which was usually just getting high, you know.
So let me ask you. I've seen you on YouTube or Facebook. You work with kids, right? Sometimes you work with the kids.
I do. And that is, you know, again, the long story of where I am today comes to the fact, you know, that I got back into music after I got clean, and probably like 98 is when I got really back in. I started taking lessons, and I never really intended it. I didn't know where it was going to go, and look where it is today. And the only reason I was able to get back into it is because I was in recovery. I stopped using drugs. I stopped all that stuff in 93. And because of that, I'm involved in helping kids now that are trying to be, you know, that are in the recovery process.
Oh, okay. Because that was my next question. If they're kids with, you know, some problems and stuff like that.
Well, not all of them have problems. Some of them just have, you know, living situations. They have parents that have problems. So what we work is with at-risk youth in the Bronx, Queens, Manhattan. And what we do is we go in and we put on shows. We write songs with the kids. And
that's cool.
Not only write songs, we do plays, we do dance routines, we do all sorts of stuff. And I was thrown out of St. Mary's School. Then I got thrown out of Hawthorne Junior High School. And at 15 years old, I was put in a reform school for 15 months, 18 months. And I will tell you, one of the things about that reform school that was amazing for me is that is where I learned a lot more about music. When I was in reform school, I was put in a cottage with all these guys from Manhattan. So I was introduced to Joe Bataan, you know, What Good Is a Castle, and all this Latin stuff, you know, and I was introduced to culture stuff like, you know, Broadway stuff, Fiddler on the Roof, because they were in that particular place. They introduced us to culture, you know, whereas before I was listening to, you know, whatever was on the friggin' radio, and I never really listened outside of that box, you know.
Well, I remember we met in the early 2000s at the Lazy Lounge over in White Plains.
Yep.
And I remember you telling me you had taken vocal lessons from a teacher in Manhattan, and you sang with a bunch of different groups, right? So you started performing, I mean, seriously, around then, early 2000s or so, right?
In 1998, I went to this place in Mount Vernon, and it was a music conservatory. And I saw that it was a church, and I saw they gave voice lessons. And I said, and at the time, I was a sales leader.
Right, okay.
I worked all over the country developing sales teams, and I was giving presentations. So I said, you know, that would be good for presentations and stuff, you know, and plus, you know, I could like do some singing too. And I'd listen to Tony Robbins. He said, do 3 things you want to do in your life. I said, yeah, I like to take voice lessons. I had no intention to sing. You know, I didn't, well, I did. I always sang. I never stopped singing. I'm not going to say, you know, it was part of my life, always. I always wrote, always sang. So I met this woman, LaRose Saxon, who I walked in, I thought I was going to get, you know, I was in a church. I thought I was going to get this old, you know, some old person that, you know, fluffy dress, you know, said, no, let's sit down. And, you know, she was beautiful. She was, you know, I walked in and I was intimidated, you know, and she turned out she was she did Porgy and Bess. She was on tour, and she said, come in here. And I sat down with her and she said, do the scales. And when I was done, she looked at me and says, why aren't you singing? And I said, oh, I don't, because I work. You know, I don't know. And she goes, you got to come and you're going to start singing. And I studied with her for 2 years. She not only taught me singing, she really focused on performance. Like what she would do is you would come in and you would study with her, and she would go through the scales, and she'd give you a song to work on. And then on Saturday, she'd get all her students in a room, and we'd do a cappella to each other and critique each other.
Uh-huh.
So I was learning, like she said, what are you looking at? What are you doing with your hands? What is that? You know, and I was learning the performance part of it more than the technique part of it.
Okay.
And I studied with a couple other singers to improve the technique.
Mm-hmm. So around that time, didn't you used to perform at some other places in White Plains and in Westchester with Nicky Armstrong and Ronnie, right? Didn't you meet Ronnie and Nicky Armstrong in one of the clubs? And I'm trying to think of the other female vocalist. She has black hair. Not Rocky.
Roxy Perry.
Yeah. You used to go to her jams, right?
Well, what happened was once I started doing this thing with LaRose, I started to like jam with people. Mm-hmm. I knew the guy who owned Prime Time Studio and I hooked up with a bunch of guys over there, and we used to go in when Prime Time would close, and we'd be there till like 4 a.m, just jamming, and it was just fun, you know. And so we were creating like a little band and writing some songs and just having fun. And at that time, my girlfriend got really sick. So I really dived into the music more because my life was very confused. Mm-hmm. And so I met Tony T. Do you know Tony T, the drummer? I went to a jam one night and I met Tony T.
Okay. And
Tony T was doing jams all over the place. I sang with him, and he said, "Oh yeah, man,
I know Tony. I played with him. Yeah,
okay. Yeah, you played with Tony." And he said, "Oh, do you play with anybody?" And I'm like, "No." And he said, "Well, be my guy in the jam." So I was doing 3 or 4 jams a week with him.
Wow.
Right, and like and one of the things I loved about it is every night I would do the same song with somebody else. So I was starting to develop that ability to, see things from a different angle, mm-hmm. As well as taking my voice lessons and whatever. And then I started going to jams, and that's when I met Roxy.
Okay.
And Roxy did a jam up in Tarrytown. And that jam, to this day, might be one of the best jams I used to go to. Gil Parrish used to go there. Dave Fields used to go there. Johnny Feds used to go there. It was like this, people would come from the shore, like, Jersey Shore, to come to this jam. It was really a pretty cool jam. And then the first night I played there, Roxy grabbed me. She goes, "Are you in a band?" And I said, "No." She goes, "Sit down with me." And she gave me a list of, here's guitar players, here's drummers, and wow. Johnny Feds was on it. Mm-hmm. Ronnie Miro was on it. All the people that I started playing with, she introduced me to them, and that's when me and Ronnie and I started going to different jams with him in Jersey. So it started to develop from that. Mm-hmm. That was like 98 or 99.
Okay. I think the Lazy Lounge started in the early 2000s.
Yeah, somewhere around there.
2003, something like that. So you and I,
we were at the 5-year anniversary. Me and you played there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's probably around 2004 or 3.
Yeah. And we worked on your record. Your record came out in 2010.
Yeah.
I remember getting a copy of it to this guy who went to the Midem festival in France, and we got such great reviews. And I remember when I went to England to play at a Boogie Woogie festival, I brought a stack of CDs to put on the table. And my friend Andre picks this up and he says, "I know this record." I said, how do you know that record? We're in England. He said, no, I got this record from a blues. Someone sent me the record to review it, and I reviewed it for our Belgium you know, blues newspaper. I really like this record. I said, wow, it was pretty impressive, right? Well,
I sent it to him.
you sent that to him, yeah.
When I did that, when we did that record, that was right after I left my job, and I decided I was going to do music full time, which is a crazy decision to make when you're 55. I decided I was going to, you know, be full-time musician, and I said, okay. So we did that record, and I had a guy in Alaska do a promotion for us,
Right.
across the country,
Right.
and we got a lot of good play,
Yeah.
across the country,
Yeah.
but he didn't do Europe.
Oh.
So I did Europe. So I started banging and sending, and
Yeah.
I mean, I was interviewed, and it was played all over Europe.
Yeah.
You know, I got a lot of playtime in Europe, but you know, like everything else, you know, then after you do it for a month or two, they get a bunch of other ones from some other people, and then
Yeah. Well, it's a constant.
we got rhythm. We got rhythm.
Yeah.
We got playtime.
So in the past couple of years, you've taken some trips to Europe and a trip to Havana. Tell us about, I remember you went to England or France or both?
A couple of years ago, I went to Paris.
Right.
For my
Okay.
birthday.
Ah.
And I was at a jam up in Connecticut with Wendy May, wonderful Wendy May.
Yeah.
And some girl is talking. She goes, I want to go to France. And Wendy doesn't want to go. And I said, yeah, I'd love to go, but it's too expensive. She goes, it's $600. I said, what airline? And I booked it that night. And then I called you.
I remember.
And I said, I need to know if you know any players in Paris. And then I got this whole plan. I stayed in the Latin Quarter. And I had a bunch of clubs that you gave me some, and I researched some, and I was in the middle of these clubs. And when I got on the plane, and that night, she never went to France. That night, it snowed like crazy. I drove to the airport anyway because you couldn't cancel a flight. They had to cancel it. And I got on the plane, and I'm sitting in the plane, and somebody starts talking to me in French. And I said, holy shit, wait a minute, I don't speak French. Maybe I should have went to England. But it was no problem. I had no problem there. Everybody seemed to speak American or English. And then when I got there, I swear to God, I was there literally. I put my stuff away. I had the list of clubs. I went around. I asked the guy where some of the way. So there, and I went around the corner. Within a half an hour, I was on a stage, singing in Paris. And I had this whole week where I must have sang about 20 times in different clubs and met whole bit. And it was amazing. It was amazing. And then last year I went to England and did the same thing.
Okay.
And I ended up, I had a list of all the clubs and did the same thing. And
Were you in London?
I was in London, right. And I sang, I went to a bunch of jams. I met a bunch of people. And now with London, I was a little bit more detailed on it. So I have a list of people, like if I go back, I can contact them. I know a couple of club owners now in London. So if I go there, I could put like a throw together band and just, you know, here's a list and go back. And I had actually was supposed to go back in April. I had a trip planned that Baron Ramunde was going to come with me. And he was talking about, you know, I'll hook us up with, what's that Steely Dan guy, the guitar player.
Rudinus or?
No, the one that's reeling in the years. I did.
Oh, I know him. I know him.
Yeah, I can't remember his name now. And I've actually.
Yeah. Yeah, my buddy in Switzerland worked with him.
John Harrington. John Harrington?
No, not John Harrington.
Not John Harrington. I'll get the name.
Okay, all right.
But he, you know, he's there and he said, oh, we're good. And then, you know, of course, COVID came.
Yeah.
Before that, I just went to Cuba.
Mhm.
Ah, my peoples.
Those peoples, yes. And Cuba, I'm looking to do different stuff now, and I don't know exactly what that stuff is yet. Um, I'm trying to evolve into a different ideas.
Mhm.
So I like the Latin groove, and I like, it's all everything I want to do is got to be evolved around beats, like something that has this like that vibe,
Uh-huh.
and so I figured going to Cuba would be a cool thing to hear the music,
Yeah,
and hear
the
absorb it.
players out there are crazy good.
Crazy good, crazy. And again, I was at this party in Jersey. This guy's a piano player, and he says, "Oh yeah, I just came back from Cuba." And I said, "Really?" So he gave me some information about a club that he played in, and he had played at a festival there. And I went to Cuba, and I went to that club, and I sat in there. And then one of the things I loved about the Cuban people that I met and the music people there is they were so warm and welcome. They welcomed me in, like, even though the language barrier was harder for me there than Paris.
Mhm.
But like I'd come into a room and I'd say, "Oh, you're great," and I say, "I'm a singer," and they go, and I say, "All right." So I get up there and say, "Just play something, anything," you know, and then I just jam with them.
Uh-huh. You just kind of made up stuff on the spot.
Yeah.
That's
Tommy, you got anything on your phone or anything like that, or did you record any of that stuff?
I did. I recorded some stuff and I did put some of it online. There was one group that I sat in with, and it was this young girl. Her name was Roxy.
Oh wow.
Roxy 4+1, I think, was the name of her band. And I walked in, and there was this kid playing violin, which was I'm looking for this, what's happening that may be new, in there. Because when you go there, you'll see there's a lot of jazz, and there's a lot of players that are playing different stuff. But I was looking for that odd thing. And this was that odd thing. This kid was playing a violin. She was doing an acoustic. They were doing rap in it. And I said,
wow.
okay, I want to get with these cats, The guy on the violin wasn't the greatest violin player, but his energy was amazing. Right. So I was like, I sing, and they were like, yeah. And I came up and we did a couple of tunes, and the vibe that I got from them was amazing. I'm still in touch with them.
Uh-huh.
I've been through the pandemic. I've been talking to the people that I met, and which was horrible because, we ran out of toilet paper here. They ran out of food, and the conversations I've been having it was an eye opener to go to Cuba.
In some of your correspondence with them now, are they struggling like worse than we are because of COVID?
Well, their whole world is the tour, the tourists,
Huh?
and they closed it down completely.
Wow.
I mean, the way that the internet is set up,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, it's really expensive. Even for us, even when I was there, you have to buy these cards, and so like they don't have the ability to recreate like we do, and they don't have, and I will tell you, it's funny. I was with this woman singer, right? We hung out for a while, and I said, "How much do you get paid for your gig?" She was playing in some hotel, and she said 30 kooks. I said 30 kooks because I said I think, in their standard, that's a good gig. I said, for a gig? She goes, no, for the month. I said, oh shit.
Wow.
So I don't know how
They survive.
I don't know how the structure is. I don't know how they survive. I don't really understand it because I wasn't there long enough, but
Yeah.
it's a shame.
Yeah.
It's a shame, but they're very, very tough people.
But they were warm and embracing to you when you were there. I remember you telling me about one guy who he was your kind of guide in a way. He would take you to certain places and said, don't go there and stuff like that.
Well, when I'm in recovery,
Mm-hmm.
So wherever I go, I also find the recovery.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I always find meetings or whatever.
Wow. Wow.
Right. So I contacted a guy in LA who gave me the name of this guy in Cuba, and he came to my house because I rented a room, $30 a day, but it was an apartment.
Uh-huh.
And he said, I'll come to you. And he came and picked me up, and we went to a meeting together. And I met a whole bunch of people through that. And
Wow.
then the next day he came back again. And then I realized he lived all the way on the other side of town. He was walking to my house. You know what I mean?
Miles to walk. Yeah.
Yeah, he was walking miles to come meet me.
Wow.
You know, and then I was like, that's a class act to me. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't have to do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I'm still in touch with him too. I'm going to go back. I'm looking forward to going back.
Mm-hmm.
You know, once this all settles out. And now I'm looking at Colombia.
Mm.
Another friend of mine's in Colombia, and we've been talking, and he says, come down. He has all the connections. He's from
like a fun trip.
So
before we start playing some of the tunes,
mm-hmm.
have you been, I know you do a lot of solo work, singing with tracks.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been doing that kind of work? Has that all been canceled?
I've been doing Zoom. I have one particular facility that hires me a lot.
Uh-huh.
I've done some, I do with the seniors, and we were talking before about my parents' music,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and since 2009, I've been doing senior facilities.
Uh-huh.
And I've been doing tracks because that's what they can afford. They can't afford a band. I've done some of the senior stuff with you, but they never have enough money.
Right.
So it's, you know, I've had these people hire me to come in and do tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been doing that. And it's been actually really good for me doing it on Zoom, because now I'm doing it face to face. They bring me from room to room. So I'm doing one-on-ones, and I'm actually expanding my music through this. And I'm I've got a really killer set of like Dean Martin and Frank Sinatra. And
I've heard you do that stuff. You do great.
I'm fucking loving it. Dean Martin was a bad motherfucker. You know, and so was, you know, like, you know, I'm even like Perry Como. I mean, like, some of the arrangements in his songs were so fucking cool. I never really listened to him before.
So can you see like the group of people at the facility when you're singing the Zoom? Can you see them all like sitting around listening?
Depends. You know, like sometimes they'll put me on a screen like this, like, you know, where there's a bunch of people. And sometimes they just take me from room to room. And I'll only have one. Sometimes they put me in a hallway with 5 or 4. You know, so they mix it up. You know, the other day they put me in the hallway. The one person was upstairs. I was in a hallway, and I was on the TV.
Oh.
So, you know, I didn't see the TV. So they had me all over the place. And that's, you know.
Mm-hmm. So, Tommy, you sent us 3 tracks to listen to. Life's in a Bag, Good Day to Die, and Hope You Love Like You Dance.
Right.
Tell us about these.
Well, I was at a meeting one day, and somebody was talking about, you know, it's a good day to die, and I said, what the fuck does that mean? You know, and then he explained it. It was like this old Indian saying, and it talks about, like, you know, warriors, when they went to war, they say it's a good day to die because, you know, they had lived a full life. They had, you know, and they were defending themselves and their land and whatever. And if they were to die that day, it was a good day to die. And that's how they went into battle. And I said, wow, you know, that's my life. You know, I feel right now, if I died tomorrow, that, you know, it's a good day because I've done everything I've wanted to do. So I wrote that song.
The
other one,
I'm sorry. How did that song? How how was that recorded? Who anybody of note play on that we would know? Or
Well, A Good Day to Die was a song I did with Paul Opalak.
okay,
You know, I don't remember if we put anybody in there that was, you know, usually use Mike Marble on drums, and
okay.
and it's kind of like the same vibe. We usually added a guitar player. He might have played guitar on that.
Okay.
You know,
Well, Paul plays everything. He's
he
like
plays everything. So
yeah.
I don't remember, but I like the vibe of the song, and I don't think a lot of people have heard it because
Okay.
I really never really, you know, promoted it.
I don't know if I know this one. Okay.
And, you know, so that song, that's what I love about that song. It's a statement of who I am.
Okay.
You know, what I believe. You know, I've had I've troubles in my life. I've screwed up. But, you know, I've turned that shit around, and it's a good day to die. No matter what happens, I know I've done everything I want to do, and I intend to keep doing that.
Okay.
You
Oh
know?
man.
Yeah, well, let's listen to this tune. This is Tom Dudley, aka the Blues Buddha. A Good Day to Die here on the Hudson Valley Jam in-depth artist interview. We'll be right back.
We all get a turn, there's no reason why. I had my fun, no one gets out alive, and it's a good day to die. You know it's a good day to die. Look at the past, right in the eye. I have no regrets, and I don't ask why. It's a good day to die. You know it's a good day to die. You know I fought to be free. A full life, been all that I could be, and it's a good day to die. You know it's a good day to die. I hear the whistle blowing, I see the train coming, I see the light ahead. You know it's a good day. I walk this earth, I have my pride. If God wants me, I know I'm alright, and it's a good day to die. It's a good day to die. Done my time, paid my dues, live my life, singing the blues, and it's a good day to die. You know it's a good day to die. And it's a good day to die. It's a good day to die. And it's a good day to die. You know it's a good day to die. That's right. I'm okay with it, baby. I hear the whistle blowing. Bring it on. I see the train coming. I see the light ahead. You know it's a good day. It's a good day to die, baby. It's a great day. I hear the
Hey, we're back.
Whoa!
Just like that.
Isn't that amazing?
All right. So tell us about the track "Life's in a Bag."
Life's in a Bag is an interesting thing because I had been making notes for a long time, and I had listened to R.L. Burnside, and R.L. Burnside, I had met one of his grandsons at a gig in actually Bamaranek in a blue.
I don't know who that is. R.L.
He's an old R.L. Burnside is a Mississippi blues man, right? And his family, their style of blues is all about the beat and all about the rhythm, you know. And when he was at the end of his career, he was hooking up with his grandkids and stuff, and they were doing that like a little bit more modern stuff and doing loop shit. And I heard this song, he said, you know, he stole my check. And I said, it's a funny answer, right? Motherfucker stole my check, right? And it's playing fucking loop. And I'm like, that shit is awesome. Right? So I went to Paul and I said, Paul, man, I want to do a loop. Create me this loop. And I got these lyrics that I had, and I had them in some sort of order. Mm-hmm. And we created the loop, and I couldn't fit the lyrics in. I couldn't fit it in. You know, it wasn't working. So he looked at me and says, just vamp it. Just vamp that thing. You know, just kick out the lyrics that hit you. Yeah. And I did. And it, to me, it speaks so much to me. I mean, the minute I hear it, it's just something, again, the similarities of my life, because my life's in a bag is basically about living a life where you're living, you know, in a drug-induced world or whatever, and you just, you know, you're just not living. You know, my life's in a bag. You know, I'm just, you know, all this stuff, and I don't even know why.
Well, let's listen to this track, "Life's in a Bag," here on the Hudson Valley Jam. We'll be right back.
What's wrong with me? Man's bad to know, flush beats are straight, back against the wall. He's a street urchin, didn't happen overnight, nowhere to go. Too much ain't enough, match for every occasion. No life, no dreams, and no complication. Sometimes, I just don't know. My life's in a bag. Now what can I do? Got nowhere to go. Nowhere to go. I've tried everything and bad shit happens. Fatal. I got no power. Don't wanna fight no more. I'm trying to find hope, but I'm a train wreck. I can't control it. I seek my comfort. Sometimes, I just don't know. My life's in a bag. Now what can I do? And being homeless and no way out. Beat down. I would never do that. Oh yes, I Sometimes I just don't know. My life's in the bag. Now what can I do? Please help me. Please help me. Going downhill fast.
We're back.
Again?
All right, let's listen to Hope You Love Like You Dance. Tell us about this one, Tommy.
The Hope You Love Like You Dance is just this thing about seeing somebody dancing and just imagining like being with them and making love to them, and that was what the song is about to me.
Let's listen to Hope You Love Like You Dance here on the Hudson Valley Jam.
I know we'll be back quick.
In-depth artist series with Tommy Dudley, aka the Blues Buddha. We'll be right back.
Can you love like you dance? Baby, shake your head. Break it to a sweat, move up and down, and go real slow. Do that bump and grind, will you move your hips? Come on, bite your lip, show me all your tricks. I know you feel like you look, and you taste just right. I hope you make love like the way that you dance. Hold your arms out wide, invite me inside. Make me lose my mind, go down slow and do it right. I wanna see that look, you lose control, make your body dip, now you do that roll. Sleazy, greasy, baby, go real low. I hope you make love like the way that you dance. Watch your body sway and your clothes fit tight. I see that swagger, you know what I'm after, so do it right. Baby, shake and bake and go down slow, then slash it thin and let it go. It feels real good to lose control. I hope you make love like the way that you dance. Take care of me, baby. Nice and easy. Go down slow. Let me in there, baby. It's my turn. That's what I'm talking about. Open grind. Oh, shake that head, bite that lip. Yeah, I know you make love like the way you dance, baby.
We're back.
Oh my! You got to give a little bit more space there, Scott. You're getting a little too anxious.
Sorry, Tommy. As I'm talking with you guys, you know, on Facebook you get these, 5 years ago, your memories on Facebook. Apparently in 2014, Tommy, you and I played at the Club Groove at 125 McDougal Street for a blues festival.
Remember that?
I do remember that.
Remember when that girl was looking for the guy who was promoting it?
Yes. I was walking down the street. I had a little portable keyboard with me.
It was funny
And
shit.
this girl, I'm about to walk into this club, and this girl stops me. She said, are you a musician? I said, yeah. Are you here to play with whatever the guy's name was? I don't even remember. I said, yeah. That son of a bitch, he owes me $1,500. He stole my prescriptions, and he's a, I tried to go in there before, but they kicked me out. I don't know why you're going in and playing with him. He's a crook. I'm like, okay.
He stole my check.
He stole my fucking check. Motherfucker stole my check. Yes.
So what happened? What did she like?
I went inside, and Tommy and the guy greeted me as I walked inside, and he said, "Were you talking to so and so outside?" I said, "Yeah." Oh man, she's crazy. Okay.
Yeah, he was a bit crazy, that guy. Yeah. He did a lot of good shit with the blues.
Yeah.
In New York.
When were you inducted into the Blues Hall of Fame?
2015, February.
Or later. Okay.
Oh, congrats.
Yeah, that was a wonderful achievement. That was fantastic. Fantastic.
I love the blues. So I'm grateful for that. And that came at a very good time for me because that was when Lori died that weekend. My girlfriend.
Yeah, I remember when she passed. I didn't know it was that weekend.
It was it was actually like a day or two before. Wow. And I got the call when we were rehearsing.
Wow.
And Lori was so important to me and just a big part of my life. We weren't together at the time, but it was it kind of like made me get through that, like having that event, and I was up there, and it was bad thing that happened, but it was good timing in the sense of for me to be able to be busy.
Life is funny sometimes, how those events coincide at the same time.
Yeah.
See the best and the worst at the same moment,
And I dedicated it to her, I mean, so I had the ability to do that, so because she supported me a lot.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun, all those gigs at 12 Grapes when she would bring everybody, and all those fun times,
I'll never forget one night we were playing in White Plains, and she said, "I'll help you," and she picked up my speaker, and then she dropped it. And Charlie Scott was in the back seat of the car, and she was loaded. She was crazy, and she was loaded, and then she like throws up in the car. I said, "Okay, this is my girl." Charlie's in the back giving her his, taking a thing so she can wipe her mouth.
Oh,
this is my girl. Yeah.
And they're both gone now.
Both gone.
Wow.
Love Charlie Scott.
Yeah, he was great. She Gets Dangerous. That was a film that you shot at Paul Opalak's studio, yes? And Paul produced the entire thing?
That whole thing was an idea when Paul started doing the videos because, things slowed down with the audio. So he had learned some new skills with green screen, and he made the piano shake.
Yeah.
So the rendering, he didn't know anything about rendering, right? And it was, he worked on that thing like crazy. I mean, for hours. So it took from when we came up with the idea to when it was done about a year.
Wow.
Because he was doing it in a spare time, it wasn't like he was focused on it all the time, and he was learning how to do all these little tricks on the video. Mm-hmm. So he kept sending me an update on it. So he'd send me an update, and we wrote that song for Miles Mancuso. Because Miles Mancuso is a great, he's a prodigy guitar player, but he's also a prodigy piano player. He's amazing. So Paul said, oh, we're going to get Miles to play it. Because he had done a song for us when he was 15 years old that blew, to this day, it still is one of the best songs we ever did. Can't Take It With You. So he wrote it for him, but Miles couldn't do it or didn't want to do it. I don't remember. And so we got Buzzy Fulstrom from Connecticut to do it. So every time he sent me a new copy, there was a new player on it. So like it would come, he sent it to me with just him playing the bass. Then all of a sudden, Buzzy playing the piano, then the guy playing the drums. So he kept adding and rendering. And then finally I had a whole band. And then we invited my goddaughter to do the teacher part. And we did our part of the video, put it all together, sent it out. And once we were promoting it, I get a call and some woman says, I want to hire that band. I said, I don't even know that band. I never even met any of them. I didn't know any of them but Paul. You know what I mean? So it was like, I didn't meet Buzzy until a year later.
Wow.
At a concert with Wendy. And yeah, that band, I've got to hire that band. Never met him. You know, but
it's a great video. It's a great video.
Yeah.
So it's cool if we do that?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
All right. So before we say goodbye, is there anything you're going to be doing soon that you want to promote?
Like I said, I work right now. I'm doing the stuff. I work, the Gangster Squad was what I was doing last, working with Vinny.
That's Vinny Pastore.
Vinny Pastore from The Sopranos. He's been in. I just got together with him. He's talking about maybe trying to book some shows. He's finally feeling like he can go out. But where are we going to play? Right now. So I've been focused on working with the kids. We're looking to expand that. We're looking for funding. We're running out of the funds that we had for this year in August. And we're going to be working with the Felix organization, which is Run DMC.
Okay.
He has a camp for kids that are foster home kids. And we're starting that in August. And, I'm trying to double my senior business because it's just fucking amazing. I love doing it. And I'm writing, trying to do some new material. And I'm also writing a memoir book. I'm thinking of, it's called Don't Buy This Book Because I Don't Know What I'm Doing.
That's a great title.
I never wrote a book in my life. So, I'm writing, and it's basically about my recovery. The last 27 years and all the things that I did and accomplishments. And I don't know what that's going to bring me, but
well, whatever. I mean,
hey man, just do it. That's all you gotta do it, man.
Well, the whole concept of the book is along the lines with everything I've done since I've been in recovery. I've done my best work when I didn't know what I was doing. And, you can't make a mistake if you don't know what you're doing. You can only have an experience.
You don't know if you made a mistake.
Yeah, right.
Who cares?
You did that wrong. I didn't know. Oh, I'm sorry. So I don't know what I'm doing, so I can't make a mistake, and that's how I got back into music. So I don't play an instrument. I don't read music. I don't write music. I feel music, and it's funny. There's a show on TV now on Netflix. It's Frank Sinatra. And in the second part, it's two parts. And they asked him, he said it in the thing, and it really touched me because it's exactly how I feel. He said, if I can't feel it, I can't play it. I can't sing it. And that's me. I'm never thinking about the music. I'm thinking about how does it move me? How does it make me feel? And that's, and that is not typical musician. That's more, people look at technique and is this the right note? I'm saying, all right, just play it. Let me feel it, and I do everything not typical, so we'll see how this thing works out for me.
Yeah.
See
I'm
how-
sure it's going to work out great. Listen, thanks so much for joining us. I
Yeah,
appreciate
thanks,
it.
Tom.
Yeah, man. It's been my pleasure.
All right, everybody. This is we've been with Tommy Dudley, aka the Blues Buddha, here on the Hudson Valley Jam, the in-depth artist interview series. Is that good, Alex?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See you.
And I
everybody.
remember
Thanks.
Elliot Randall was the guitar player.
Elliot Randall, that's it. Yeah.
But we've done like 4 songs together.
Wow.
Yeah, when we were out in Montauk.
Oh, when we were there for the festival?
Remember that kid guy asked me to come
Yeah,
up?
yeah.
Got Elliot Randall on that.
Wow.
Yeah, four songs.
Fantastic musician.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
See everybody.
All right. Goodbye, everybody.
Later, everybody.
Thanks, Tommy.
Take care.
That was fun.
Just having a school bell ring, she takes a question on history. On the Bill of Rights, the kid says it's a mystery.